Well, that's all the time we have for the show for today. It's been great with you, TK.
It's been a great day.
As always.
And the car kind of fits you too. I'm not sure, you know.
I know. It's the whole aesthetic. it is working for me, but definitely.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, it's the heels why I didn't win in the badminton segment. Just
I thought
now.
it was the lights.
Or the lights. So I want a rematch.
No problem.
We'll talk about that. We'll
no
talk
problem.
about it.
All right. Till such time, tune in to Lead Story at 6:30 this evening with George Sylvester Davis. Don't miss a brand new episode of The Corner Office tonight, featuring Carlton, of course. And that's all the time we have for Sunrise for today, Sunrisers. If you missed anything or you just want to rewatch your favorite segment, we've got you covered at CVMTV.com. And for all the fun stuff in between, we're on Instagram at Sunrise CVM and at CVM_television.
It's Roundtable time. The Roundtable squad takes over after this.
You got a fast car. Is it fast enough so we can fly away? We gotta make a decision. Leave tonight or live and die this way.
Good morning, Roundtablers. I am Barbie, and the countdown to the weekend, as you know, is on. So joining me at the table is my amazing co-host, Celine.
Good morning.
And Shelly. And our very special guest, you know her. Well, hello, Shelby.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful this morning. So thank you for joining us at the Roundtable this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, no problem. And Shelly, welcome. Wagwan.
Boy, you know, sir, life is very interesting, you know, because some of the time just a fly past, and you don't even realize which day of the week it is.
Yes.
So it's always a pleasure to see you again, Barbie. Good morning.
Yes, it's a pleasure to
Party crashing.
She's table crashing today. That's okay. We love it when Shelly is here.
I know we love to have Shelly.
Yeah, Shelby, you're in for a treat with Shelly.
Okay.
No, actually
Should I be
with all
scared?
of us, so that's fine. Pardon?
Should I be scared?
No, you don't have to be scared. Just relax and have fun. That's what we do here at the table, right? And it's an all-ladies round table this morning, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's Women's Day every day, a babe.
Every day. And now it's time to check out what is buzzing online in our social buzz. Check this out.
Because if I don't set my standard, the standard won't be set. Because if I'm asleep, how can I be woke? Yes. Because if I don't fall, how will I get up? Because if it's not in front of you, then it's already behind you. That's a bar. Because if I don't get right, then I'm gonna get left. Because if I don't swim through it, I'll drown in it.
Okay.
I have one.
You have one?
I have one.
Okay,
ready?
You're ready?
Because if I don't get paid, I'll be broke.
Celine, that was your social buzz. It was your social buzz? Whose social buzz? That is, I've never seen that. That is, that's the producer's pick. So that's actually very, very funny. Thank you very much for that one, right? But I've never seen that one before, but they actually had some really good.
They did have some good
I thought it
lines.
was cute, them trying to be deep.
Yeah.
So if I don't get right,
You're going to get
I'm going to get left.
My favorite part is the
And how deep they went with it, right? Okay, so now it's time for a bag of things. So let's see if we'll have just as much fun. What's in the bag of things this morning? So my bag of things this morning, and I did not, I am actually a professional makeup artist by trade.
really.
Yes. yes, absolutely.
How did we not know that about you?
I don't know. See me there in action? I'm there in action.
Oh my
So it is
goodness.
actually, yes, it's actually something that I fell into or ended up doing, really. So I used to model, and then I used to, I got into teaching modeling, and I found that I really, really just enjoyed doing makeup. So as a little girl, I used to wait until my mom and then they'd get dressed to go out, and my mom would always leave all of her makeup out on the counter. So I'd go in there and I'd play in her eyeshadows and all of that stuff. So when I was done, I didn't want to get in trouble. So I'd take the eyeshadow palette and run it under the water.
Oh.
Yeah, man, just to clean it up and then put it down, because that way she'd never know. She'd never catch me. But of course, yeah. But I never got in trouble for it. She always encouraged me to actually continue playing in her makeup, and as a result, it actually became something that I...
expensive
Big
makeup.
up Barbie, mother.
I think they were the cheap palettes, though.
Maybe that's why I got away with it.
Yeah, that's why I got away with it, because now I see these expensive palettes.
Listen to me.
And if I remember correctly, Mom's palettes like looked really, really cheap in comparison. You know, so I think maybe that's why I got away with it.
I think so too, Barbie.
Anyway, thanks, Mom. I appreciate it. So now I see something hot coming over here out of the corner of my eye. Thank you very much, Renella. Whew. Whew. You know, when we say something hot, like the steam should just come out. No? No? Okay, so this morning it's Ask the Roundtable.
Yeah.
That's us. Okay, so let's go. Ask,
So we get
and we are ready. So we asked our viewers, we asked our viewers to send in their questions, their dilemmas, or just some topics that they would want to hear our opinions on. And so let's get into it. Question number 1.
Oh.
Roundtable, I have a question. How do you deal with a boss where sometimes he might make decision and it's not in the best interests of the team, and you're a part of that team, but it's like every time you speak up, him shut you down, and every time you give suggestions, him don't take them, him just do what him want to do. What I must do? Roundtable, I have a question.
Well, that's an interesting question. I struggled with that myself a little bit. But what I have learned is that sometimes you have to let people fail, even if it's your boss. You have to allow them to, and you have to allow them to fail, as well as you don't always understand the method to the madness or really what they're doing. And they're in that position because they're in that position. So if he's your boss or she's your boss, let them boss, let them do what they're doing, because it's either going to work or it's not going to work. And if it doesn't work, then you can, give your input. But if
In the meantime, update your resume.
Really?
You can do that too. You can do that too. But then, do you really learn from a lesson of something working or something not working? Nowadays, it's easy to say, "Oh, just move on and go to another job" or something like that. But I've stuck it through, and I've learned.
No, can I just say, though, the name of the game here is submission. So I like what you said at the end, where let the boss, because oftentimes they have information that you don't. And so they're making these decisions that you don't understand because there's several steps ahead.
Yeah.
So the name of the game is submission.
Yes, Shelby. I saw you over there with Shelby. Shelby said, upgrade the resume, and Shelby was like, yeah, because I'm out the door.
One thing about me, I'm going to leave.
You're going to leave?
However, your point is valid. I will say that. I just also think that sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it as well. Like, don't undermine the person. At least give them a little explanation, or just don't shut them down just like that.
True.
But,
So
the boss can boss in a boat.
Yeah.
Boss with reason. Don't make me feel like a foolishness.
But what if you're, like she said, you feel like the boss, the decision that the boss is making, the decisions that he's making, or what he's asking the team to do, you feel it's not in the best interest of the team? Yeah, leave, or...
I mean, I have to stick it out for a while first to see if it's going in a good direction. And if it's not, I'll be like, I told you, bye.
Yeah, but the reason why I say update your resume in the meantime is, as you said, it might work and it might not. And sometimes the risk is so big that you end up getting axed because what is the result of the decision making is going to negatively affect you too. So
the
nothing
boss
is
got
wrong with
everybody
being
fired?
No, I'm not just talking about firing. I'm talking about a lot of times what happens is when something goes horribly wrong, there's a scapegoat.
True.
And a lot of the time, the scapegoat is not the decision maker.
Very true. But let's scapegoat into question number 2. Let's go.
CVMTV. My question is this. Why is marriage not a big deal in Jamaica? And why do we have a lot of single women raising children in Jamaica? I don't really like it. What are your views?
I like that. No, I like that a guy was
Did he say
asking
why
the
is marriage
question.
not a big deal in Jamaica?
It sounds like he said it's such a big deal.
I think he said not a big deal.
He said not.
Yeah,
He said
because
not
there are
a
so
big
many
deal.
single
I
people.
heard such too.
And then he has an issue with there being so many
Single
women
women.
raising children.
Single women. I have the same issue with a lot of single, because parenting is not a one-person job.
It is not.
It definitely takes two, and outside of the two, it takes a village. It really does, and I'm a living testament to the village. You know that when the parent or the parents are not able, the village has to step in, and it's very important. So I agree.
That is quite nice if there's a village and there's a village that's willing to participate. You can't fake a village and you can't force a village. I'm very annoyed every time we have this conversation about single parent. We blame the parent that sticks around. The parent that sticks around needs all the help that they can get, and they cannot do that by themselves because they shouldn't do it by themselves. They didn't make that child alone. So instead of blaming the parent who stick around, let's stand what happened to the person who's not there and why they keep on leaving, and see if we can rectify that.
Well, Shelby, this is a guy sending in this question. Right? And he says he has an issue with the fact that there are so many single mothers. From your perspective, right? Because you're the youngest at the table, right? Seemingly, because I'm pretty young myself, you know.
Yeah,
but
I
it's
get you.
okay.
I'm
you know?
14.
You're 14,
Right.
right?
Same age.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm the oldest at the table.
Okay.
You're still the youngest. All right. How do you think?
Again, I agree with your point, saying why are we blaming the parent that's there? Because I was also raised by one parent, surprisingly not the mother. But why are you blaming the single parent and not trying to figure out like what happened to the other person? We don't need to go ask the people them that's not around why they're not around.
Okay. So
instead of asking the person that is single why the person is not around. Them don't know either.
All right, fair.
I
So
love that.
let's stick right there, and we have more roundtable coming up after the break.
I love that.
Welcome back to the Roundtable. This morning we open the floor to you, our viewers, for Ask the Roundtable. So, question number 3.
So, if both men and women are working full-time, how fair is it for a woman to say they shouldn't be required to come home to cook or clean, yet the men are still required to come home to do man duties, like taking out the trash or provide the meal?
Well, Shelby, I'll let you answer this one first because I have a very strong opinion on this one.
I'm gonna hold back as much as I
How
can.
fair is it?
Don't hold back, Shelby. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
Man must stand up like man. Man must behave like man. I kind of believe in the more traditional route of things, and I just feel like if we're both working full-time, right, why the chores can't split up? If so be the case. If so be the case, why them can't split up?
Well,
Why me must go work and then come home and do everything?
from slave over hot stove.
No,
I sweat
I'm
off your
not
makeup and sweat
doing
off your
that.
hair.
That he's asking about just taking out the garbage. If you come home, come cook to serve.
No, instead,
Yeah, man, if you
no,
come cook.
exactly. Split up
Yeah,
everything
man.
then. Clean,
But him
cook.
say provide the meal. Shelly, what say you?
But I'm working.
I only have one thing to say. Grown-ups, before you get into a relationship where you're going to live with people, sit down and discuss
Have these
who's going to do
conversations,
what.
yeah.
Right.
Because you might realize after having said conversation that you don't want to live with them. Work it out before you're moving. That's all I'm going to say.
I agree. And before we go to question number 4, let me just state my opinion is me not coming home, come cook.
Agree.
I am not doing it at all. I'll cook every now and then, but me not coming home from work, come work again.
Taking out no trash.
Question number 4.
Yeah, I'm not taking up.
My question is a very short one. How best it is that you think we should reprimand 1.5 to 2-year-old children I have a son, and this little boy does not listen to anybody but me. And I slap him sometimes, yes, to get him to cooperate, but everybody else him just have him own way with. What is the best way to instill discipline without slapping the child?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, wow. This one kind of hits home for me.
We hear you.
This hits home for me directly. I have literally been struggling with how I reprimand my niece. She's 2, going on 3, and I've been struggling with how I reprimand her because I realize I don't want to hit her, and I also don't want to shout at her because I realize that I'm teaching her to shout whenever she has an issue or someone does something she doesn't like, or there's something she doesn't like. I'm teaching her to behave that same way in response to liking or not liking something. So I'm more aware now of what I'm teaching her as well as what I want her to learn, right? So I find that I get what he's saying when he says his son only listens to him. But it could also be that his son is afraid of him, and you don't want children. You don't want children to be. Children lie out of fear. So what you don't want is you don't want him to fear you more than he respects you. So you kind of want his respect more than you want him to be terrified or fearful of you. So I would definitely say try to be calmer in the way that you reprimand him, and maybe talk more to him because they do understand. And when you talk to him, ask him to repeat what you say, because I find with my niece that really works. When I ask her to repeat what I say to her, she does eventually repeat exactly what I'm saying to her, and then we can talk. So,
Mommy, Celine, let's hear from the mommy.
Yeah.
Boy, Barry, it is so difficult not to shout.
It is.
And not to slap.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. It's not
difficult.
easy.
And so what I would say is that usually there's a reason behind the response of a child. And sometimes you're shouting and responding to something that's not quite there. They are communicating something completely different than you're receiving. So if we could just take a minute to understand first why the real issue that the child has or don't have, and then respond to it like that, which may not require shouting. Maybe it just requires responding in a totally different way. Yeah. Then maybe we could come up to a solution. So spend a little bit more time actually communicating with your child to see if you can understand what the problem is.
Yeah.
But boy, I'm not going to tell you, say,
it's hard. So I get it.
You're not going to get out. But yeah, that's a hard. You think you know what you're doing until
you don't know what you're doing. But question number 5. Let's hear this one.
Question that I have is in regards to a video that's currently on social media with 2 young Jamaican men stating that they're ugly and saying all the things they have heard throughout their life. How can we make a change in our society where we are protecting our kids when we hear people speak to our kids in this way? We are correcting them and letting them know that what they have to say, you should not believe it because you know who you are.
I'm throwing that one right to you because I think your generation, things come at you more openly, and people are more free to say what they feel and say what they want. And sometimes those things can be very, very harsh. So how would you answer?
I mean, one, I would hope that they would be in a household that gives them positive affirmations. And if somebody's not giving it to you, you have to take control and give it to yourself. So,
but what if you don't know, if you're not getting it from the household?
That's what I'm saying. You have to teach yourself. You can't, at the end of the day, you really can't depend on people to do everything for you. So if you're not getting it, you really have to give it to yourself. Otherwise, everything that people say is just going to consume you.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think we struggle with as adults when we're around children is we like to praise them for what they look like. We see a little girl and we tell her all sorts of ways how she's pretty and how she's nice. And a lot of girls who probably don't get that same kind of affirmation, she grows up thinking that she's ugly or maybe she looks different from that. We have a standard of beauty that we want to meet. I think we should stop praising them for what they look like and praise them for who they are. So use words like brave and smart and strong and you know, you did such a good job.
Absolutely.
Teach them to find value in what they are capable of and the things that they aspire to be and the things that they actually do from a good place, and don't focus so much on what they look like, because that is what happens. They grow up to be adults who spend whole heap of money to fit a certain beauty aesthetic because they don't feel good about who they are.
Absolutely, absolutely,
So
absolutely,
right.
absolutely.
Normalizing
Beauty,
positive
yeah, beauty for me, that's what being a makeup artist definitely taught me, is that there is something beautiful about everyone. So listen, I know this conversation is getting really, really hot, but it is time for another break. So stay tuned for our final question after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Time flies when good things are happening, but you know what time it is. It is time for the final question and a final thought. So let's hear it.
Hey, Roundtable. I've been having a little problem. I've been married now for 4 years, and I have a 6-year-old daughter, which is from a previous relationship. My husband has been suggesting to me to fully adopt my daughter and giving her his last name, but I can't help but feel like this would be disrespectful towards her biological dad, even though he's not really in her life.
Wow. Okay, so
blended family.
It's a blended family, and if the father is still, if her biological father is still alive and he's still there, he may not be as present in her life, but that could also be because you're now married to someone else. He may have a different life. I don't know what the circumstances are behind that. I tend to believe that children deserve their birthright, and you don't rob them of their birthright by taking that name away from them. So my thing would be, it would have to be a decision that's actually made not just by her, but by her and the father, as well as.
Yeah, but it sounds like the father isn't in her life. That's what she said.
Yeah, but he has to relinquish. Yeah, but he has to relinquish his rights. He would have to sign away his rights for the father.
It doesn't sound to me like that is the obstacle. It sounds to me like she just don't want to do it because, you know, she thinks that it should be something that is kept because she knows who the kid's father is and the father is there. What I would say is, what's the rush? Give it some time.
I agree. It's only 4 years.
Shelby, what do you think?
Yeah.
The thing is, she said, not really in the kid's life.
Yeah,
I want to know what that means, because it could be something serious and it could be something that is very petty, and you don't need to do all of that.
Yeah. My question would be is, the little girl, does she have a say in any of this? Nobody's mentioned.
That's why I say give it some time.
Yeah, give it.
That's why I say give it some time and let her be a part of the conversation when she's older. I don't think they have to do it right now.
Because at 6, when you take a name from her to switch it back,
I would say give it some time, because there have been a lot of cases where kids, by the time they get to a certain age of understanding, maybe about 10, 12, and they say, okay, this person has been my father, and I want to take on their last name. I don't think it should be something that she rushes to do, because it is a big decision. So I'll give it some time.
Absolutely. So final thoughts, Shelby. This is our most unfavorite time and favorite time of the Roundtable, because it means that the Roundtable is almost over. Final thoughts on the questions that you heard here today, and anything that you may want to just share.
Man, y'all putting me on the spot, man.
Yes.
Why?
She said, why?
Y'all have some really valid questions out there. I wish there was more, but you know, time flies when you're having fun.
This is true.
Maybe next time I can come back and we can talk some more.
Or you can send us questions.
You know, you can do that one.
Shelley?
Well, you know, it's always a pleasure to hear from the fans and the persons who tune into the show and support the show. So thank you so much for your questions. And I hope we said something that would help you, because, you know, otherwise, what are we doing? But it's been awesome. Thank you so much.
Celine?
I'm saying normalizing positive talk, self-talk, and talk to others. And I love, like Shelley said, that you tuned in and asked such deep questions that we need more time to unwrap. So thank you for watching and tuning in, and I do hope that we answered your questions.
Yes.
And my final thought is definitely in line with what the ladies have said. Thank you so much for submitting your questions. We love this. This is actually something that we enjoy doing, giving you our take on what's happening in your lives. Right? So keep the questions coming in. That is a wrap for the Thursday edition of the Roundtable. So please enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And as you go forward into the world, remember, be good and be on purpose.